I doubted myself, and ultimately it ended up dictating my actions. And at the time, it made me feel safe with the outcome when it dictated my actions, but it left me feeling really unfulfilled. So, in today's podcast, we're going to talk about overcoming doubt so we can get over ourselves, so we can reach our full potential, whether it be health, fitness, or life. Let's go.
Witness the Fitness Podcast. Discussions and ramblings of everything fitness, health, and nutrition. Let's go!
I'm in no doubt that you have experienced doubt at some point in your life. You know, that moment where there's just no confidence within yourself or even your own ability, and left unchecked, it can dictate your actions, like I've said. So within my personal experience, before I took over the studio and opened my own fitness studio gym, um, a lot of people ask me, was it hard to do? And when I think about it, when I compare my doubt versus just doing the stuff that then you have to do, like the practical stuff, opening a fitness studio is really easy. The hard bit was convincing myself that I could do it because of this doubt. So when I think about setting up the studio, it's pretty simple. I signed a lease, I handed over some money, I bought some kit, I set up some systems, some booking systems and marketing and all this, that, and the other. But in all honesty, anyone could do that. And honestly, anyone could do it. Just spend some money, set up a booking system, put some advertisements in place, and let people know. The kind of actions of doing that are really, really easy. But the convincing of myself was the hardest bit. I remember when I first got offered a space and a lease, if I'm brutally honest with myself, I turned it down. One, because it didn't feel quite 100% right. But two is because there was a large part of me that was like, but what if you fail? Like, what if this don't work? What if you're not good enough? Just this gut-wrenching doubt within my own ability. So when I look back at that initial start point, what was the hardest bit? And it was overcoming the doubt, understanding that I was capable of doing it and convincing myself that I can do it and I should do it. And whilst I've got you here, if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to press like, give me a subscribe and a follow. Let's carry on. So I want you to take a moment to maybe just reflect on some times where you've experienced doubt, and maybe reflect on some experiences when you've reflected on doubt and you've given in to the doubt. You've let the doubt win. How did you feel? When you look back, was it the right thing to do? Now, maybe you may think it is, but in my opinion, a lot of doubt within ourselves is unfounded. And it may be based off, like, we'll just say, poor knowing of oneself. You don't quite understand your capabilities and skills, and this is why you kind of doubt yourself. Or you're not savvy with the opportunity that's in front of you and how much of a golden opportunity it is, and you're allowing a little bit of self-doubt to get in the way of this brilliant opportunity that you've got. Now, every time I've got over my doubt and pushed through, so if I go back to when I signed the lease, the first lease I turned down because, if you want to call it bottling it, maybe I bottled it. But the second time, I did not give in to doubt because I had the same feelings. When I got offered a different lease, second time, same kind of scenario set up, I had this exact same feelings, this like nervousness, and then my brain going into overdrive going, but remember what we talked about before? That might happen again. And ultimately, it's overcoming that aspect. And every time I've overcome the doubt, it's been in my benefit. So if you doubt yourself, it's completely natural. But if you give in to the doubt, in my humble opinion, you've already lost. And there's a reason for it. When you doubt yourself, you'll never give the 100%. When you doubt yourself, you won't go all out. You'll be a little bit defensive. You'll hold back some because the doubt is not wanting you to go all in just in case it's catastrophic, in case you've got full failure. So if you allow the doubt to dictate your actions, you've already lost. Because there'll be stuff that to be successful needs every ounce of you, every ounce of your effort, 100% application, and even the littlest bit of doubt may hold back some percentage, which then lowers your probability of success even more. Think about it. If you doubt yourself, you might only dip a toe in. And you might be trying to do something, an opportunity where dipping your toe is nowhere near enough. Nothing but your whole being is needed. The whole of you, the 100% you is needed to be successful. So it's where we need to start to learn to get over doubt. Experiencing doubt is completely natural, completely normal. But it's when you start realizing that you have the power to overcome doubt so it does not get in the way. So you have that capability to apply yourself in your fullest form with your fullest potential overall. It's the only way you're going to be truly successful. And that's why I kind of refer to, if you kind of give in to doubt, you've already lost. Even if you doubt yourself and still go ahead, but there's this still lingering doubt, you won't apply yourself 100%. You need to get over this doubt, experience it, totally normal. But how we do get over doubt is that crucial bit. Sometimes it's just with just this kind of strong, bullish mentality of going, you know what? Maybe I will fail and maybe the doubts are right, but right now I'm going to give this everything and just be open to maybe failing hard and not be, we'll just say embarrassed. Why are some of the doubts? Why are there some of the doubts so strong? And what are some of the reflections you may have from the doubts? I hear this when people start strength training. I don't want to do it because I don't think I can do it, and I don't want to embarrass myself being seen to fail. So one thing is kind of readdressing that perception. Do not be scared to fail. Fail hard. The key to it is learning from it. Totally fine to have doubt. Manage it. Get hold of it. It's totally fine to fail hard. Learn from it. Develop from it. Progress from it. You cannot let doubt dictate your actions because, like I said, while you're ultimately safe, you might kind of go, oh, thank God I ain't got to do that. I'll guarantee within a short space of time, you just won't feel good. You won't feel fulfilled. There's always that, but what if? What if I did do it and it was amazing? It was the best thing I've ever done. But I just let this little bit of lack of confidence and this doubt creep in and it completely stopped me from doing what deep down my gut feeling's telling me to do. When I signed that lease and it was like, it's on. I got this rush of adrenaline that felt so good. I was absolutely bricking it. I was shit scared of what was to come because there was this element of doubt, but I decided to kind of rise above it and still act in a way that I wanted to do. And now looking back, it was the best thing to do because I have fulfillment. Is it easier? No. Do I still get regular challenges? Yes. Do I still have regular moments where I fail and have doubts? Yes. But I push myself beyond my comfort zone to make sure that I do not let doubt dictate my actions because I know that in the long run, in the long game, it leaves me feeling unfulfilled and I don't want it. So let's get stuck into how we actually overcome self-doubt so it doesn't get in the way and block us. Now, the first thing and the most important thing, like I've already said, is that they're a natural thing. Everyone's going to experience it. You've experienced it. I've experienced it. So we need to recognize it, not hide from it. So recognize it, acknowledge it, and then kind of like start breaking it down. Where is this doubt coming from? Why is this doubt here? Because it might be a really useful tool to help you understand some of your shortcomings. The doubt's there for a reason. Now, that necessarily shouldn't stop you from doing what you're doing, but it may give you some other things that you also need to work on. So if I go back to my own doubt and I recognize it, and if I look back and acknowledge it, part of it is because I'd never really set my own business up or pushed across so much money within a short space of time to set up the studio. So there was doubt because I've never done it before. Now, that is really rational. That makes sense. So understanding where the doubt comes from to then maybe deal with it better. And when I look back, some of the things that I did was then, I spoke to a lot of people and the ins and outs of it. And over time, I built up a confidence because I had more understanding of maybe outcome, the way it would work. But I had to recognize where these doubts were coming from so I could then deal with them in a positive light overall. So step one to dealing with doubt is one, recognize it and go, it's totally normal, totally fine. And then start looking at its source. Where is this doubt within yourself coming from? It is going to pull up some shortcomings, and them shortcomings you need to work on. Now, the second thing is about reframing to a more positive mindset, because initially your doubts are always going to be negative, which is fine. Because a lot of negative emotion can, like I said, be based in truth. It's showing up your shortcomings, and that can be really hard to deal with, kind of staring at the mirror and looking at your flaws, where this doubt is coming from, going, hold on a second, you're not very good at this, or you're not new to this, or you've never experienced this. But we need a more positive outlook overall. So if we look at the negativity of what I mentioned earlier, what if it fails? What if you embarrass yourself? Well, that what if game you could play so many ways. Let me just counteract that negative what if with just some positive what ifs. What if it's really successful? What if you actually find that you're really good at it? What if your business booms? What if you make more money than you ever thought possible within that first 2 years? What if you do this and you've never felt happier? Changes it, don't it? Now, I'm not saying to think negatively, because negative is a natural feeling and thought pattern. But what I want you to practice is balancing out that equation, that yin and that yang. You're going to have negative thoughts. What I want you to do is balance that out with some positives. So you're unbiased. You're looking at it very objectively. Here's some negative aspects, but here's some positive aspects. What if it goes wrong? Or what if it goes right? What if I lose money? What if you gain money? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you kind of stand out and are recognized for your acumen and your skill? Readdress and be a little bit more balanced and add some positivity into the thinking as well. Now, tip number 3 is to make sure you kind of goal set and set realistic goals and set up realistic expectations and maybe kind of break them down really easily. One of the biggest differences from when I allowed doubt to win the first time and I didn't proceed versus the second time I went ahead was, excuse me, there was a time part between that first and that second time. There was a chunk of time. What happened within this chunk of time is I'd spent more time with the information, more time planning. I had a better idea of how I was going to make it work. I already had more kit in storage ready to go. I was in a better position. Now, whether that was down to me fully planning or just kind of a natural progression of still wanting to proceed with it, Mentally and practically, I was in a stronger position. So it was easier for me to overcome that second bout of doubt because I wasn't in the same exact frame of mind, and things I had in place were in a better position. And that was down to kind of just setting up appropriate goals, making sure I was working on very particular things. So when the opportunity came round again, I was more ready for it. So it was easier to overcome the goal, overcome the doubt. So set up a goal, break it down, work on things, build yourself up so you're in a position to overcome doubt. Tip 4, and it's always a good tip. It don't matter what you're doing in life. A good tip is always surrounding yourself with empowering, supportive people that understand and can empathize with you. So I've already alluded to one thing that happened earlier was then getting people on side that help you. So one thing I did really, or one thing interestingly, when I was setting up my own business, when I spoke to individuals that either worked in the fitness industry or were self-employed themselves, there was very positive, like, you should do this. And they gave me great advice, and they spent time with me telling me to look at this, think about this, you might need a bit of money for that, and just gave me ins and outs, and it built my confidence up. Amazing. When I spoke to people that either, maybe there was friends or family that didn't have knowledge in the fitness industry or experience in the fitness industry and didn't own their own business, as in they wasn't fully self-employed. They may be working high-level business, but they're not self-employed. It's a different thing. They were very negative. The people that didn't fit the context of what I was doing were negative. When I asked people that fit the context, they was very positive. Now, you should never take advice about a journey from someone that's never left the house. Yeah, it makes sense. Never take advice from someone about taking a journey from someone that's never left the house. If you're setting up a business, it's completely self-employed, everything's on you like it was for me, well, then I should not take advice from people that have never been in that position. Regardless, I should go to people that have left the house and been on a similar journey and go, how did you find their journey? At least if they're negative about it or have negative outcomes, at least it's realistic information. At least it's experience there that you can learn on. Where if you're listening to naysayers that just say, you shouldn't do that journey, it's not worth it, and they've never been on that journey, they're not to listen to. So you should take this advice where go find supportive people, positive people that have experienced or have knowledge around what you're trying to do. You want to get yourself fit and healthy? Go and speak to people that have actually achieved it or do it on a daily. Do not go to people then go, do you think I should get fit and healthy? When it is clear as day, they do not prioritize, they do not value, they do not practice fit and healthy. You're going to get poor information. They're going to feed into your doubts. So top tip, go liken yourself, befriend people that are on similar journeys or been on similar journeys or have expertise in what you're trying to do. Next tip, be brave. Take action regardless. It is scary as hell, but do it anyway. An old analogy that you never know if your parachute's going to open unless you jump off and pull it. You can't be stood at the top and pull it and expect it to open. It don't work that way. So be brave. Have faith in your skill set. Have faith in your ability and your effort. So one thing that helped me overcome my doubt as well is the way I am as a person. I work hard. There is something within my behavior and who I am as a person that I like to give effort. I love it when I see people apply effort. I have gratification within myself when I apply effort, even if I end up losing, but that was me. That was my 100% effort. I get a really good sense of fulfillment of that. I did my best. So when you fear failure, when you experience doubt, do it anyway. You're going to learn from it. You're going to learn from it. You go in scared, but you give it your best shot and you fail. Learn from it. Go again. And you failed again. Learn from it. Go again. Be brave enough and have enough conviction with the actions that you want to take, knowing that it's going to send your life in the right direction and the direction you want. Top tip, be brave. So as I've said, effort is a big thing. Knowing that I can apply 100% effort. This is a really powerful tool to overcoming doubt. And it's about having a growth mindset where go look for challenges. Go look for opportunities and just get your best shot. Don't give it anything but your best. If you find yourself in an area working on something that maybe you're passionate about or you really want, do not give it anything but your 100% effort. Take on challenges, even challenges that scare you a little bit and you have got doubt. Now, over the years, I still have doubt, but I overcome it a lot quicker. And I really think it's because I've slowly but surely developed a growth mindset where I accept challenges. I look at them slightly differently, no matter what the challenge. One part of thinking for me is, well, I've had challenges in the past and I've been very successful. There is no reason why this next challenge can't be the same, where I'm going to have to work hard. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be uncomfortable, but I'll apply my best effort and I will be successful. And that doubt initially is a passing natural phase where it's just enabled me to look at things very objectively. But ultimately, I will remain positive and I will keep that growth mindset overall. Final thoughts to overcoming doubt in terms of incorporating and encompassing all of these tips into one. And it's about consistency. That boring word that you hear from me a lot. Consistency is key. It always is. The compound interest effect. The more you keep doing things and layering it up, just bit by bit, it builds and it will build into something magical. And overcoming doubt is no different. You just have to remain consistent with the actions, the positivity, and that forward trajectory and that growth mindset that we've just talked about. Give it time. I am approaching 7 years of the studio being open. I have had so many moments of doubt, so many challenges. When I first opened, the first few years were really tough. I just got on my feet and then COVID happened and all that bullshit. I got through that. That was a massive challenge. I had just got back on my feet. It took me about another year and a half, 2 years kind of post-COVID to kind of regain my feet. I got some growth going. And then I had things like jumping of, because of the world economics and recessions and that, everything, rent, overheads skyrocketed, massive challenges for the business and me. But one thing stayed consistent, or two things stayed consistent. The doubt within myself. There's always been points where I still doubted myself. But the second thing, I've been practicing a lot, all these tips, all these helpful factors, I stayed consistent with them to help me overcome the doubt that I was experiencing. So it didn't derail my actions. I didn't do things that were negative or catastrophic to the way I want to live my life and the way I want to grow my business. The doubt's always going to be there. But we can work on the consistency of recognizing that doubt and putting some of the systems in place and the tips to get control of the doubt and make it useful for us. So ultimately we take a nod to the doubt going, I understand why we feel this way, but I'm going to be brave. I'm going to apply effort. I'm going to be systematic and plan logically. I'm going to find people to help me. And we're going to be successful. And ultimately, I'll overcome doubt, be successful, and feel purposeful and fulfilled. And that is the ultimate kind of summary that we want. We want that fulfillment. We don't want to move forwards, never acting and feel safe, but disappointed within ourselves. I'll guarantee the moment you overcome doubt and become brave, you will feel so proud of yourself and it'll be a good thing. So let me know in the comments when you've experienced doubt or maybe how you've dealt with it in the past. I'd be really interested to hear your stories as well. That's today's podcast. Really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you give me a like, you give me a subscribe, you give me a follow. I'd really appreciate it. And in the meantime, make sure you stay active, you stay motivated, and you stay healthy. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. See you later.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode of the Witness the Fitness Podcast. The place to be for everything fitness, health, and nutrition. Tune in next time, and in the meantime,